Hey guys, my name is Anthony Rinke, and I just got done doing a day of what I really like to do, and that's delivery driving. And now I'm on my way home, unfortunately, as the orders have made it. I'm once again now about 20 minutes away from my house, so I figured I'd do something that I'd really been wanting to do for a long time, and that's vlog about my delivery driving and other life activities that I do. So once again, my name is Anthony, and I'm a father of 3 kids, been married for 18 years, and I've done tons of different jobs in my life. Way different industries. I mean, I've of course done fast food. I think a lot of people start in fast food. I worked in a dairy. I cashiered and stocked shelves and things of that nature for a big box store that rhymes with Ballwart. And worked for a sheet metal company. Did a lot of delivery driving there because I started out as a shop boy and then I became a sheet metal apprentice. Turned out I hate working with sheet metal. I mean, I don't mind metalworking. I hate doing it with a time constraint, if that makes any sense. So let's see. I worked for a print shop on a college campus one time, and they had me doing deliveries. So, you know, one thing I've noticed in my life, if the job required deliveries, I really enjoyed doing the deliveries, but I didn't really enjoy the rest of the job. So I decided to, well, I was working for a manufacturing plant up here in Montana, Billings, Montana. That's where I'm from, or currently reside anyways. I'm from Lebanon, Oregon, but I currently reside in Billings, Montana, and I worked at this manufacturing facility that makes sports drinks and health food and stuff like that. But my income was lacking a little bit, so I started delivery driving for a pizza place. And I realized I liked that job more than I liked working in the manufacturing facility. I had a pretty neat job there. I worked in the lab, and where I tested the products to make sure the physical properties of the products were up to par. There was other people with more knowledge than me that did other testings, but you know, the job actually got kind of boring. And on occasion, I started delivering for Uber Eats, and I really enjoyed that. So I was delivering for the pizza place, delivering for Uber Eats, and working at this manufacturing plant, and found myself wanting the day to get over so I can get back out and drive, because I really enjoy doing it. So it really came to a point where I got out of the factory and started delivery driving during the lunch periods. And then I realized that one thing that I really liked about the delivery driving was that I didn't have to keep a strict schedule, and I was basically my own boss, which had been something that I really wanted for a long time. I've tried some other businesses. I've ran a lawn mowing business, which was okay. It was better in Oregon. I haven't actually tried doing a lawn mowing business here in Montana. And I own owned a quilting business for a while, and that did okay. I really enjoyed that. In fact, I kind of regret getting rid of that business, and may do that again sometime in my life. But where was I at? My mind kind of wandered a bit. So, oh man, I'm being a bad example here. Sorry, folks. Wear your seatbelt when you're driving or riding. So where was I at? Anyway, so delivering for the pizza place, working at the factory, and delivering during... Oh, yeah, so I quit the factory and delivered for Uber Eats during lunchtime and worked at the pizza place. And all the drivers at that place had to do either dough prep, or if you were the closing driver, you were required to wash dishes and close down the restaurant, or do the closing dishes, which most of the time only took an hour after the restaurant closed, but sometimes it would drag on. I think I was there for 2.5 hours after closing one time. And the bummer about that is you're only making minimum wage when you're not on a delivery. I mean, you made minimum wage plus tips on anything that you delivered, so it was pretty good money. And the closing driver usually made the most money, of course, because he was there the longest. But I couldn't stand doing the dishes. I liked the people that I worked with, and so I decided, well, my favorite part of the job is doing the deliveries, and so I basically gave up driving for the pizza place and went full time. But one thing that I saw, I was driving for Uber Eats, and Uber Eats wasn't quite cutting it financially. But then I noticed other places came into town that I could try out. Specifically, Grubhub. They had, and still do have, an hourly minimum that they guarantee if you follow their code of conduct, basically. Then DoorDash, of course, they're taking over the world. And Postmates and Instacart. So, I signed up for all of them. And so I finally, I think, have gotten into a rhythm now where I'm making pretty much my goal for the day without having to work too late at night. Tonight I'm working, it's like 8:30 p.m. October 14th, and tonight, that I really want to quit working before then, so I'm going to work on actually starting a little bit earlier. I could drop my kids off at school in the morning and then start a little bit earlier. But another thing that I've noticed is because DoorDash has taken over so much, and because Instacart in my town pays so well, I pretty much have pared everything down to just 2 apps that I use consistently. And I would like to share that information with you guys as well. And just was wanting to know, really, if I do this, what is some information that you guys would like to know about these things? Because I've been doing this full time now for 4 months, and I've used Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, and Instacart. The only one I can say that I'm not really an expert at is Instacart, but I schedule myself with that every day from about 8 or 9 in the morning. Then I go till 11. I run DoorDash during lunch. Then at about 1 o'clock, I pick up Instacart again, and I go till 5 o'clock on Instacart. And then I run DoorDash during dinner time. And usually I make my goal every day. One thing that I've noticed with Instacart is I can sit in a red zone with Instacart and wait for an order, but sometimes they just don't seem to come. And more often than not, I'll be in a red zone with Instacart and it will give me an order at a different grocery store across town from where I'm sitting. So I've decided to change how I do that. Instead of just sitting around in one spot, I turn on DoorDash in between Instacart orders. Now, a little while ago, it was a bit harder. I had to schedule myself with DoorDash. And so I did a bunch of tiny little blocks of DoorDash. I say tiny, but a bunch of 1.5-hour blocks of DoorDash. And that worked out great. If you're not a top dasher and you want to multi-app and use DoorDash as one of them, my first suggestion with DoorDash is to schedule multiple smaller blocks. And the biggest reason why is if you're on other deliveries and you pause your order, you can only pause that order for about 30 minutes. And after that, you lose your dash. Now, I only schedule my dashes for 1.5 hours at a time. That way, if I lose my dash, it's not a long time before I get to dash again. So that is my first tip with it. Figure out how long you want to work with it. So I scheduled Instacart basically from 8 to 5, and I would start DoorDash. I'd start scheduling them from 11 till 8 or 9 at night, and I do 1.5 hour blocks. So basically 11 to 12:30, then 1 to 2:30, and so on and so forth. That right there, before I was a top dasher, that saved me a lot, because I used to schedule these big, huge chunks of dashes, like 6 to 8 hours, at a time. And you lose your dash, and then you're sitting around. Well, I never sat around and waited. I would drive for other apps, but the Dash Nows, sometimes they never came. So anyways, tip number 1, schedule only 1.5 hour blocks at a time. Tip number 2, the new pay scale, it's a love-hate relationship. The thing that I love is I know how much each of the trips are going to be. I know if it says $7.50, that's what it's going to be. I know $2. In my area, we got a lot of cheapskates. If it says $2, maybe 1 out of 10 of those orders people will tip. So here's my second tip. Figure out the minimum that you want to make per delivery. In my market, $7 seems to be working for me. I'll accept, if it's a slower day, I'll go down to $6. But, $7 and right around there. Sometimes I'll get a good one that's $6.98 or whatever. And the second thing, and this determine what you need, but at least $1 per mile. It costs about 50. Well, it costs me a lot less per mile to drive my vehicles, but I'll share the reason for that in a later video. But the government gives you 58 cents per mile on your mileage for a reason. So I figure if I make sure that it's $1 per mile, I'm at least profiting 42 cents. So that's my second tip for you. Figure out what the minimum you want to make per order. Only accept those ones. And also make sure you're getting at least $1 per mile. You might need more, you might need less. I actually would not recommend doing any for less. But $1 per mile, and you're going to profit 42 cents per mile. Tip number 3, this is a business. And like any good business, you need to make a profit. Quit thinking about, oh, I'm not making a lot per hour. Or, ooh, boy, I made $32 that hour. You know, I've had $50 hours and I've had $10 hours. It's not about the hourly wage. If you want the hourly wage, quit doing this. Go to a W-2 job and get your guaranteed hourly wage. So, that's tip number 3. Stop worrying about what you're going to make an hour and start, well, you never need to worry, but start thinking about how can I make the most profit. So, those are my 3 tips for this vlog number 1. And I'll bring some more things. I'm not just a delivery driver, so there's some other things that I want to talk about in my life. Primarily, I've got a lot of projects around my house, and I want to start talking to people about those, well, so that I'll kind of have some accountability and get them done, because to be honest, I've been a little bit of a hoarder, and it's all these unfinished projects that I have. But those will come in later videos. For right now, though, my first project is to start a YouTube channel, and I figured I'd start out with the vlogs. So this is day number 1. I've got some other YouTube channels I'm going to work on and see how they are, like one where I do, well, primarily the one that I want to focus on, besides doing this daily vlog, is a channel where I show how you can fix a lot of stuff on your own without paying other people to do it, and how much you can save doing that. So anyways, I'm home. My day is done. And I'm going to go eat dinner now with my family. And going to sign off. So thank you for watching this. Like it if you like what I've had to say. Dislike it if you don't like what I have to say. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But whether you like it or dislike it, leave me a little note in the comment about why. And also, like I said, I've driven Uber Eats, DoorDash, Postmates, Instacart. Uber Eats, DoorDash, Postmates, Instacart. There's one I'm missing here. And Grubhub. So if you got any questions about those, you can leave those in the comments as well, and I'll try to answer those questions. And you guys all have a good Monday night, and I'll be back tomorrow.